What's up, guys? Thanks for coming back to my continuing review of The Handmaid's Tale Season 3. We're on Episode 4 now. Just watched it, and I gotta tell you, I got so much to share. I love this show. Every season, every episode has been entertaining, but I want to hear from you all. Tell me in the comments below, what did you think of tonight's episode, and if you look forward to see what happens by the end of the season, don't forget, consider clicking on the subscribe button and that bell notification in order to hear any more content from me for your future enjoyment. So I don't know about you guys, but every time I watch this show, every episode, there's always something that gets me fired up or someone that I'm pissed at. And this episode definitely happened towards the end, which I'll get into, of course. But let's start at the beginning. What I really liked, it's the baptismal that they're all going to, and even have some of the handmaids be a part of it to watch it. And June, she kind of has a flashback of her baptismal with her daughter. And I like how in this show, whenever they have flashbacks, it really does make a parallel connection to what's going on in the present, whether it be something literal or metaphorical. And here, they're both baptismals that she was witnessing. And the one that she had with her child those years ago, it was something so nice and positive. And even though the mother was kind of against it, it was just something you would want to be a part of. And here, she's part of this new world of Gilead, and I'm a Christian, and even witnessing that part, that way of doing the baptismal, it just seems so wrong with everyone, with how it was carried out. And it seems normal, like you would see in any other church, a baptismal, but it just something didn't seem right about it. And of course, that's how they're twisting the whole Christian faith in this world, and it's just, it was so uncomfortable. And then the guy, the pastor, I believe it is, he was talking about how one of the babies were taken away, which was June's baby, and they think it belongs there with Serena, which is entirely not true. And it's just so sad and unfortunate that this world, they think that that's how it should be. And after that sequence, we see Emily again. And she was a character that I mentioned in the last review that we'd be seeing her perspective on this season, being that she's now out of Gilead and safe in Canada. And here she's reunited with Sylvia and her son again. And it's been a while since they've seen each other, so these scenes between them, it gets a little maybe awkward, uncomfortable. She's kind of unsure on how to do this again, and it's kind of the secondary part of this episode, the secondary story, because the primary story is what's going on with Gilead and June and the baptism and what happens after that. But here you're just seeing what's going on with her in between all that. It's her trying to adjust again, and it's just that it's been so long, and it's, how do you start from scratch after being a part of such a nightmarish world, and now you're back on the norm again? Really plays with your head, especially for these women. But the real meat of the story in this episode is what's happening in Gilead at the Putnams right after the baptismal. This is where I got really livid to what was going on. We have Mrs. Putnam in one scene thanking June for saving their daughter, which is obviously Janine's daughter, from which you remember she was going to drop her daughter off that bridge in the last season, and she's thanking her for that. So it's kind of an awkward scene because Janine's right there, and June, you see that expression on her face that she doesn't want to say thank you. She wants to pretty much say F you to her because she knows the daughter rightfully belongs to Janine. That's her daughter. And that's the unfortunate thing with these girls. They have to shut their mouth. They can't speak their mind. And what they're thinking that's right in their mind is completely wrong in the eyes of all these people living in Gilead. So after that awkward confrontation, the rest of the episode in the Putnam's household goes through different conversations with different characters. You have June talking to Mr. Waterford, and then with Serena. As you already know, they're both separated, and she's not living with her mother. And June is trying to tell Mr. Waterford maybe one of the ways to make it work is to let Serena have more freedom, to have a voice. And, he kind of smirks at the idea at first, but I think, he's going to give in and let her have some sort of freedom to do that. She eventually tells Serena, and it almost seems like Serena is kind of like, she's kind of hesitant on if Mr. Waterford would be true to his word. But this is what I think is, once again, the beginning of this revolution where the women are going to strike back because they've been silent for so long. And to have someone as powerful as Mr. Waterford's wife to actually have a voice, I mean, this is going to be the beginning of them striking back at the men. The other thing that's going on, and this is the one that pissed me off, is the confrontation between Aunt Lydia and Janine. Now, Janine, you know her. She's one of the nicest, kind of gullible people in this season or in this whole show. And those two have a moment with each other. Aunt Lydia pretty much confesses to Janine that she knows the girls don't like her. And Janine kind of just tells her she's thankful for her. And you think everything's all well and good, and she's so nice to her. Well, this is the part that I was so mad at. She wants to work for them again, and then Lydia starts yelling at her, and then she starts beating her down, and that's when June comes in, and I was so happy June came in and actually said something. And you know that when the people of Gilead are not doing anything about it to stop June from Aunt Lydia hitting her, you know that what Aunt Lydia did was wrong, when even the people that are on her side just are in shock. You saw everyone in that room was in shock, and I now officially hate this woman even more so for what she did. And I just hope that some way she's punished for this, because the next scene you see her, she goes into a room all alone and she starts crying. I think she realized what she did, especially to the fact that other people that are on the same side as her are looking at her with such cruelty, and they're almost ashamed to have her in that same room as she's in. But that was more or less the climax of the episode. The cliffhanger, though, I want to know what's going to happen next. I mean, this is what I was saying before in my last review, that somehow the characters in Gilead and the characters in Canada are going to somehow meet very soon. And you all saw what happened with June going upstairs, and that guy had the tablet that he was showing to Mr. and Mrs. Waterford. They had found the baby and Luke, and they asked June to confirm, do you know this man? She says, yes, it's Luke. And Serena's there. She's crying. She still doesn't have a voice. She can't say anything to her husband about saying, no, don't do this. Because we're pretty sure that they're going to somehow get a hold of Luke to try to get the baby back. And these are times in this show that I just want to choke one of them out and try to stop them from doing it. But this is good writing. This is just amazing storytelling that not only wants you to keep on going to see what's going to happen next, but it really gets you invested with these characters, and you just want to hold on to them and make sure that their path they're going to is the path you want it to go to. I enjoyed this episode, though. I cannot wait for next week's. I cannot wait to see where the show takes us in the next 9 episodes of this season. But let me know, what did you think of tonight's episode? Are you excited to see what happens next week, as I am? Don't forget to tune in next week for my next review on episode 5. Don't forget to give it a like if you like this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in hearing more of my content. Y'all have a great day. This is Rye the Movie Guy saying I'll see you at the movies.